Hello and welcome to today's webinar, Find Anything in 5 Seconds. My name is Paauw and I'll be your presenter. Today I look forward to sharing one of my all-time favorite productivity tools with you, which will enable you to find anything you file or store in just 5 seconds. Before we get started, I have a few housekeeping items to cover. First, today's webinar will be available on demand for replay and is accessible through the same link you're using right now. Toward the end of this webinar, you'll receive the access link to some webinar notes along with a special offer. Next, I'd love to hear from you during or after today's presentation. If you have questions or comments, please type it in the text box in the lower right corner of your screen or email me. I will be in touch soon to respond. And last, as you think of others who may benefit from what you learned today, I hope you'll share today's webinar with your social networks. Now let's get started. A quick introduction in case we haven't met before. I've been at the helm of my own coaching and consulting practice, Powerfully Organized, since 1995. In 1999, I received my certification as a business and personal coach. Today, I refer to myself as a life architect, helping busy professionals create blueprints for purposeful and productive lives. Do you feel overwhelmed trying to find what you need when you need it? If so, you are not alone. To lay the foundation for the topic of discussion today, I'll share my definition of clutter. It goes like this: anything you own, possess, or do that does not enhance your life on a regular basis. To make good decisions, you must be clear about what's important and what's cluttering up your life. Clutter takes many forms, and often it's camouflaged to the point that you may not even recognize it as clutter. In addition to environmental clutter, it can also show up in the form of thoughts, activities, or even relationships in your life. Once you become more conscious of what's cluttering up your life, it will be easier for you to make some values-based decisions that will keep you focused on your priorities and goals. Did you know that clutter costs companies an average of $3,000 per employee? The average office worker wastes up to 3 hours per week searching for lost information. That's 150 hours per year, or almost a month. 80% of what we file is never accessed again. Even if it is accessed, it can become obsolete quickly, and most busy professionals do not have an annual file cleanout plan in place. The cost in unnecessary file supplies, space, and time to maintain obsolete information is astronomical. And the average worker has 36 hours of unfinished work laying on their desk. Without systems to manage the workflow, it turns into lots of unnecessary stress. If your company has employees, you may be interested in seeing what the real cost of disorganization is per employee. If you don't have employees, consider the cost of disorganization for yourself. If you want to do the math for your own salary, the figures here in red represent 12.5% of annual salary. So now we know what disorganization costs in real dollars. That does not take into account other costs like health and peace of mind. So what is good organization? There are many ways to measure that, and I'll share just a few. Can you quickly find what you need when you need it? If you don't know you have it or can't find it, it's of no use to you. Does your system work, and do you like it? If you don't like it, you probably won't use it consistently, and consistency is key. Organization is not about being perfect. It's about making progress. Mark Twain offers some great advice. He says, "The secret of getting ahead is getting started. The secret of getting started is breaking your complex, overwhelming tasks into small, manageable tasks and then starting on the first one." I've asked hundreds of people what causes paper to pile up for them. The number one reason given is a fear of never finding it again if they file it away. According to productivity expert Barbara Hemphill, clutter is postponed decisions. I have a simple rule that I ask my clients to commit to when we begin working together. No more, "I'll just set it here for now." Once you learn what the alternatives are, you no longer need to create piles of postponed decisions. I teach a popular free webinar called Buried in Paper. During that webinar, I teach you how to break your complex, overwhelming overflow of information and tasks into manageable ones, so you have an alternative to creating piles of postponed decisions. If you have not already participated in this webinar, please join me to learn a simple process that will help you make decisions quickly with all the things that come flying into your busy life. You'll find the registration link for this free webinar at orgcoach.net under the Resources menu. Since 1996, I've used a little-known tool that has given me tremendous peace of mind. This productivity tool has enabled me and many others to easily and quickly find things once they're filed or stored away, which addresses the fear that causes people to pile in the first place. I'll share my own story with you about how I got started using this tool. Although some people say I was born organized, when it came to my own filing system, I had trouble finding things because I couldn't remember what I called a file or which category I filed it under. In 1996, I was introduced to a program called the Paper Tiger. At first, I did not like it because it was so different than the filing system I had been taught to use. But what I was taught was not working for me. I was introduced to the Paper Tiger by Barbara Hemphill, who was my mentor in the field of organizing and productivity. You may recognize her name from the many books she's written on the subject. I had such high respect for Barbara that I decided anything she was behind must be good. So I decided to push through my discomfort and try a different approach. It took me about a month to get used to this new way of filing and to adjust my way of thinking, which required a complete paradigm shift. According to Webster's dictionary, a paradigm shift is an important change that happens when the usual way of thinking about or doing something is replaced by a new and different way. I had been taught that it was important to file related things together in a file cabinet. In my home files, I had created categories for medical, legal, financial, and household files. Within those categories, I filed the files alphabetically. Herein lies the problem. What do you do when papers could be filed in more than one category? I'll describe a challenge I encountered with the filing system I was using at the time. A client of mine was in a car accident and she had papers about the accident to be filed away. She was having trouble deciding which category to file the papers under. Should she file it under medical for her neck injury? Under legal for the lawsuit she had just filed against the person who rear-ended her? Under financial for the car insurance papers? Or under household for the car repair files? Or should she create 4 different files for all of these things related to her car accident, one in each category? If she did that, should she photocopy all the pages about the accident and have duplicates of everything in all 4 files under each category? Are you beginning to get the picture here? Although I was taught to file related things together, with the Paper Tiger, I am no longer limited by that. Categories are not necessary. I simply file or store something in the next available file, enter the item name into the Paper Tiger database, and any keywords that I might think of later when looking for that file, and I place the papers in the file. Since implementing the Paper Tiger in 1996, I've been able to find anything I file or store in 5 seconds or less, and so can anyone else who has access to my database. My husband and I no longer have to agree on what to call a file. If he calls it car insurance and I call it auto insurance, two different letters of the alphabet in a traditional A to Z filing system, we simply enter both keywords into the database, so we both get to be right. I've implemented the Paper Tiger for hundreds of clients who can also find anything they file or store in just seconds, with a system that does not break down over time. My clients easily save at least 150 hours per year by eliminating the time-consuming task of looking for lost things. I'll share what Floyd Greene, a happy client, had to say about using the Paper Tiger. He said this: "I've used Paper Tiger over the years and am evangelistic about its value. In May of 1995, I was in a serious accident when a drunk driver hit me while I was riding my bicycle. My skull was fractured, and I suffered brain injuries in the area of the brain that affects executive functioning. As a result, I experienced panic reactions when interrupted, when there was clutter, or when my ability to focus was broken. During the next 6.5 years, my very survival depended on having a high degree of order around me. I'm telling you this because I am living proof that the organizing and time management principles you provide really work. Thanks." It's stories like this that make me love what I do. I look forward to sharing a little more about the Paper Tiger today. My experience is that other filing and finding systems break down over time, but the Paper Tiger has held up for me for over 20 years. I won't use anything else to manage my filing and storage needs. Although the Paper Tiger was initially created to help people with filing and retrieving documents, those of us who have been using the system for years have discovered a number of creative ways to use the Paper Tiger to find other things. As long as you can put a number on it, you can find it with the Paper Tiger. In addition to files, here is a partial list of other things it has been used for: boxes, bins, and other containers, drawers and shelves, books, binders, CDs, DVDs, and keys, parking stalls for a tow truck company, and even tissue samples for a genetic lab. Rather than trying to further explain it, let me show you how it works. If you think about why we were taught to file by category and alphabetically, it's so we could find things. If we just randomly filed things in a drawer, we'd never find them. Of course, until the Paper Tiger came along, and we did so in conjunction with using a database and numbers. The database is like doing a Google search, which helps you find things very fast. What we're looking at right now is a list of my locations in my own filing system. It may be hard to read, so I'll read the locations to you, which are listed in alphabetical order. Here's what I have. Active, which is a file drawer in my office next to my desk. Archive, which is a filing cabinet in my garage. Attic, which contains storage bins in an attic above the garage. Fireproof, which is a fireproof box that contains about a dozen sensitive files. Reference, which is a 4-drawer filing cabinet across the room from my desk in my office. And Shed, which contains storage bins in a shed next to our home. I'll show you how this works. I did a search of my database for the word insurance. After doing that search, several files came up. 5 in my reference files and 1 in Fireproof, all containing the word insurance, either in the item name or in the keywords associated with that item name. The system highlights the word you looked up. As I look at the search results on the screen, I can see that 1 file is for car insurance, 1 is for health insurance, a couple are for life insurance, and 1 is for homeowners insurance. By seeing all of my insurance files listed on the screen, I can quickly determine where the file is that I'm looking for. In this case, I'm looking for my health insurance file. I can see that this is located in reference 29. By the way, I could have looked up the word health and the same file would have come up, probably with a few other files that also used the same keyword. The point I'm making is there are a number of words I can look up to find what I'm looking for. I don't have to remember the actual name of the file, just one keyword associated with it. I know that my reference file location is in a 4-drawer cabinet across from my desk. The drawers of the cabinet are labeled, and I can see that reference 26 through 40 are in the second drawer. I open that drawer, and there's the file labeled reference 29. I mentioned that you can use the Paper Tiger to find anything you file or store. Let's say that you store equipment or parts in numbered drawers. Then you enter a drawer name and some keywords in your Paper Tiger database to describe what's in each drawer. When you want to find something, you type in one word that's associated with either the drawer name or a keyword associated with that drawer. The Paper Tiger will find the location of your item. Now I'll show you how you can use the Paper Tiger to find things in storage. When our daughter was about 8 years old, she collected Beanie Babies. She actually collected over 100 of them. Eventually she grew out of this phase, but she did not want to get rid of her prized Beanie Baby collection, so we stored them in a plastic container and put them in the attic. Years later she came to me and said, "Mom, where'd you put my Beanie Babies?" I said, "I don't know, go ask the Paper Tiger." She opened the Paper Tiger database and typed in Beanie Baby, and up came Attic 27. She went into the attic, and there, in numerical order, were the numbered plastic containers. She was able to quickly find the storage container with the number 27 on it. Without the Paper Tiger, there is no way I could have remembered where we stored her collection, which had been put away many years ago. In another situation, I got into an argument with a family member about a financial matter. I knew that we had paid off an educational personal loan, and the family member insisted that we had not. This was back in the day when banks sent you checks after they were processed. I had kept a file in my archives with the actual checks, with an endorsement signature on the back of each one, proving that those checks had indeed been deposited to pay off our personal loan. Again, I would not have known where to look for those checks if it had not been for the Paper Tiger. This is a storage unit for a client who's a teacher. The storage unit is about 3 miles from her home. Most of the bins contain things she needs for her teaching at different times during the school year. She does not have space to store all of these supplies and teaching tools in her home. She loves that she can send her teaching assistant or one of her kids to the storage unit and tell them exactly what bin to access when she needs them to bring her something. Another client is a trainer, and she's kept training materials for every workshop she's ever offered. Although she has an electronic version of all of this on her computer, she likes having a hard copy printout of her teaching agenda, PowerPoint presentation, and handout for each workshop. If she has notes or evaluations, those are in the binder too. The 3-ring binders contain numbered tabs for 100 workshops, with her training materials for each workshop behind its own tab. In the front of the first binder, she has printed out a file index that shows all of her workshops in alphabetical order by workshop title. She can do a keyword search to narrow down which workshops she wants to access, and then she goes to the notebooks to view her materials. This makes it easy for her to compare workshop materials or find what she needs fast. When she creates a new workshop, she'll print the materials and add them to the next available tab inside the third notebook. Once she has filled all 100 tabs, she can simply create more numbers for new workshops and add a 4th notebook. Remember that you can find anything you put a number on with a quick keyword search. For example, a company may have a bunch of keys for different parts of the building. Instead of labeling the keys with a location, which could become a security breach if the wrong person got access to the key storage area, the keys are all numbered, and the only staff who are supposed to access the keys have access to either the Papertiger database or a printout of the numbered keys and corresponding keywords that describe what room each key will unlock. I have a portion of my book library in the Papertiger. I can do a keyword search by title, author, or other descriptive keywords to find books I own. This also means that when I buy a book, I don't have to put it in a specific order by author, category, or title. The books can all be mixed up, and the Papertiger will help me quickly find what I'm looking for. The old categorical or alphabetical way was problematic if one part of my library grew and I had no more shelf space on that shelf. I used to have to shift everything over to make room. With the Papertiger, you add new books onto the end. Or let's say you give away book number 11. The next new book can take the place of that one on the shelf, and you simply change the book title and keywords in your database and put a number 11 on the binding of the new book. The same applies to CDs and DVDs. You no longer have to store them by type of music or movie, or alphabetically. The keyword search will find it for you and provide you with the item number so you can quickly and easily locate it. A tow truck company was having a challenge finding cars on its lot when people would come to claim their vehicle. They started using the Papertiger, and it made it so much easier to find the car on their lot. All they needed was a license number, VIN number, make, model, year, or color of the vehicle. This also helped them save time when the police would contact them to see if they had towed a car that had been reported as stolen. With any identifying information, they quickly located the vehicle in their database, and the database told them which stall number the car was parked in. One of my clients is a researcher with the National Institute of Health. I learned that she was using the Papertiger to put keywords in the database that helped the researchers identify which tissue samples are genetically related. With thousands of samples, some being worked on by other researchers on the other side of the lab, having the ability to look up a family name or ID number and identify what other samples in the lab were related was a huge help to their research efforts. I hope that by now you're getting the idea that you really can find anything you can put a number on using the Papertiger to quickly find it. For those who do not have a lot of paper, but you have electronic information you want to better manage, the Papertiger also includes Digital Tiger, which is powered by Google Docs. This is an excellent way to manage your digital files online. And because it's already in digital format, there's no data entry required to do a keyword search. So, what can the Papertiger do for you with its powerful keyword search ability? It can transform your cluttered environment into an instantly retrievable resource. No more, I'll just set it here for now, because you don't know where to put it, so you can find it later. You or others can find anything you file or store in 5 seconds or less, even in your archives or off-site storage. You'll be able to eliminate duplication of information. This will save lots of paper, photocopy toner, time, and storage space. Use unlimited keywords. You don't have to get family members or coworkers to agree on what to call a file, because all of you can include your keywords to describe the contents of a file or container. Everyone gets to be right. The Papertiger will make you much more responsive to clients and coworkers. Because you can find things so quickly, this will assure a fast reaction time to audits and other legal matters. I have an attorney client who has shared several stories about how she was able to quickly find critical facts about a case when she was in the middle of court hearings for a trial. You'll vastly reduce disruption from employee turnover. This is a big one. So often, when the person who created the filing system leaves the company, nobody can find anything. You'll lower your stress level by having a system that gives you peace of mind, knowing that you will find anything you file or store in just seconds. The Paper Tiger is a web-based program, which means that you don't have any software to update, and you can access it from anywhere in the world through the internet. You simply log into the Paper Tiger's secured site, which is double encrypted to keep your data safe and secure. Only someone with your username and password can access your data. Some people have expressed concerns about what would happen if their internet went down. This actually happened to me once when we had a huge windstorm that knocked the power out. Now I have backup power, so my computer still works when the power goes out, but at the time I did not have that. I needed to find something in my files, and I was able to quickly do so because I had printed out the file index. You can print this out by item number or alphabetically, or both, so you can find things manually in your filing or storage system in an emergency. Keeping your files up to date is important, and the File Cleanout Guide makes it easy to review your files from a printout and decide which files to keep, toss, review, or move to archives. The Paper Tiger program enables you to print your own labels for your files. This prints the location, name, and file number. So, for example, if you want to create 100 reference files, the Paper Tiger will generate those labels for you and you can print them yourself. Another benefit of using the Paper Tiger is that once you label a file, you never have to change the label on that file again, because reference 12 is always going to be reference 12, regardless of the contents of the file. If you toss or transfer the contents for your reference 12 hanging file, the file itself stays in your file cabinet and remains empty until you create a new reference file. The system then looks for the lowest available number for that location. When you want to create a new reference file, you simply add a new file name and keywords to the database and place the new papers in reference 12. I've created a handout for you which recaps some of the things we've covered during this webinar and also provides a link to the website where you can purchase access to the Paper Tiger, as well as some links to helpful resources and other free webinars that you may benefit from attending. You can access this by going to orgcoach.net/findanything-handout. I promised that I'd share a special offer with those who stayed on this webinar to the end. With the never-ending supply of information flowing into your life, both personally and professionally, it can be difficult to take control of your life. Sometimes we get to a point where we're too busy to sort through all the mess. We get so caught up in unproductive activities that we lose perspective as we also lose precious and valuable time. If that's you, and you'd like a fresh outside perspective on your situation, with an action plan to be more organized and allow you more freedom during the day, I invite you to sign up for a no-cost discovery call with me by phone or Skype. I'd love to help you get organized so you can finally live the life you want to live, as opposed to reacting to the chaotic world around you. Even if you're already super organized, if your life is not moving in a direction that feels fulfilling to you, and you'd like support to change that, let's set up a time to talk. Maybe you'd like to get organized and increase overall productivity. Find ways to enjoy greater fulfillment and balance in your work and personal life. Receive help navigating something important. Start a business or take an existing business to the next level. Improve your health or relationships. Get support and encouragement as you work toward achieving a big goal. Or perhaps you have another burning issue you would like support addressing. During our call, we'll talk about your vision for success. We'll uncover hidden challenges that may sabotage your success, and we'll identify the next steps you can take to create your blueprint for getting you from where you are to where you want to be. To schedule this, go to orgcoach.net/schedule and reserve a time that works for us to speak by phone or Skype. If you've already decided that you want to start using the Paper Tiger system, please review the service packages I offer at orgcoach.net/Paper Tiger Packages, and that's hyphenated together. I'll also include this link in the notes. If you would like a package of services that is more customized to your needs, let's talk. The most important part of getting started with any new system is properly setting it up. There are numerous ways you can do this, and I can help you customize your Paper Tiger system setup to best meet your specific needs. I'll also help you shorten your learning curve and avoid making some costly mistakes in your setup of this system. My greatest joy is to empower and equip others to live the life of freedom and fulfillment they desire. I look forward to providing you with tools and processes to organize your entire life so your environment and lifestyle reflect your values and passions. I invite you to schedule your private, no-cost call with me today, and I look forward to connecting with you soon